Why did you leave your last position? Now we're going to do this kind of another question, but use the same premise. Okay. Now I want you to understand that this question in general is about risk. If I'm asking you this question, it's because of risk. I want to know what makes you leave positions, okay? Because troubles are going to happen, and I want to know why you left the last position. Did you get mad at the manager and quit? Was it too much travel? Oh, by the way, it's not any more travel than the position I'm offering, et cetera, et cetera. It's about risk aversion and about your professionalism. It's not about gossip. So when you give an answer, you want to make sure that you use this kind of a framework, if you will, reason, the lesson you learned, and then you want to pivot it really quickly to why you're a perfect fit for this position. You got to get back to the position at hand. You cannot spend too long on the reason why you left. As a matter of fact, you want that reason to be very short and very neutral. You want to speak with wisdom, not emotion, whenever you're talking about this. Neutral reasons would be, unfortunately, the company went through a restructure and I was caught up in it. There was a role change. I didn't want to step back into a CRA position, so I decided to leave. The company relocated to another state. I was no longer able to work there because they require people to be on site. I'm seeking growth, and I didn't feel like there was an opportunity for there to be growth there. There was a misalignment of direction, etc. Practice it short, sweet, right? Not that it was a toxic environment and I felt bullied every day. No, you got to keep it very neutral, and you want to make sure it's very professional, because what they're doing here is they're trying to see whether or not you're a gossip and if it's risky to hire you. So the lesson is you want to then clarify what you learned. So once you give the neutral roles, you want to pivot to outline the lessons learned. It's like I left my last position. It was oncology. I had to leave because of a restructure. But what I've learned from it is, oh my gosh, oncology is my heart. I love it, right? Lessons learned. You're pivoting it back to the position that you're applying for. Or I loved working with small teams. I loved being able to do X, Y, Z. I mean, you've got to be able to lessons learn it. Here's the thing, you guys, if you got fired, own it, right? I talk about this all the time. We just had a gal, and I think we talked about this last week, who said, unfortunately, I was let go because I infringed on a technology policy. I was not aware of a policy. I made a mistake and I was terminated. This is what I've learned from it. I have now learned to make sure, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Own it. What did you learn from it? And then you want to pivot it back to your strengths and your direction, which goes right back to your elevator pitch, right? So for example, if we're doing another mini exercise, we've only got like 8 minutes left, so we'll have to be a little quick with this. But just so that you guys can see where I'm going, and you'll have access to these slides, and I strongly encourage you to write this up. But you want to write the reason. My role was, and you use this framework, my role was restructured, changed, terminated, right? My role was. It becomes less personal, whatever you say, my role was, rather than I was, right? And that's what you're looking for, because again, the interviewer is looking for risk mitigation here whenever they're talking to you about this. That helped me to realize, or helped me to clarify, that I really love working with small teams. I really want to stick in the lead CRA role. I really want to stay with oncology, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And that, now you're pivoting. That is why I'm now focused on roles where I can work on oncology projects and da 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 da, which is, of course, the role that you're offering. Are you seeing where I'm coming here? You got to bridge it right back. You have to be in control of this interview, which means you got to keep taking it back to the job. And you see where I'm consistent, right? I keep talking about being an oncology specialist, my love for oncology, my 2 or 3 strengths in oncology, and this is why I'm applying for your oncology position. Every response to every question goes back to that same framework, just positioned a little bit differently. It's still real, it's still genuine. You're just making sure that you are getting your point across consistently and concisely. Same thing with the why you're interested in this position. You want to use a very similar formula. Show you understand the role. Why are you interested in this position? I have had candidates say, I should never have to explain this. They should know from looking at my resume that I am qualified for the position. Remember what we talked about at the very beginning. This has nothing to do with your qualifications. That has to do with your desire to work for me at my company in this role. And that's why this question is so important. Why are you interested in this position? I ask it this way when I'm interviewing people for my team is if you got 10 job offers, why would you choose mine over all the others? And that's really what you need to have in your head before you go into these interviews is why this company? Why Pfizer on this project? Why CRA Resources on this project? Why? Why do I care about this so much? And it shows that you've done your homework and you understand the company and the role. But you can then, again, connect your strengths. I am interested in this position because I have a passion for oncology. And my last position was a multiple myeloma project, and it was a phase 1, and I just loved it. And I am so excited about this project. And by the way, I know you're going to be struggling in certain areas because it's a rare disease and you're going to have a really big challenge with enrollment. And I'm super excited to dig in and help you with that. Right? You guys with me? You see how you just like knocked somebody's socks off by being able to do that because that's the impact. You've just shared the impact there. Okay. So another mini exercise, and you guys can do these for homework or for the competition, like we talked about, is why your role answer. And here's some framework. From what I understand, this role focuses on key responsibilities. It focuses on site management, leading other CRAs, mentoring other position people, whatever the job description said that resonates with you. Find it and talk about it. This is really important, you guys. And then that aligns with my experience in la, 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 right? All these other positions that you had that relates. And then you go a little bit further that says, I'm particularly excited about this role because it would lead me to help you solve a problem with da 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 da. Here's your framework, specific and exact. Umu.
Yes, so back to the question where you left your last position or your last
Okay.
job. So if I said I left because it was a job alignment, like I went from being a CRA to becoming a site engagement lead, something which is totally not too different from a CRA, but now it was an opportunity for me to, it was an opportunity for me to grow in my career. And it was a place that I wanted to be because I had been a CRA for a long time.
Okay.
Um, is that appropriate to say?
It is. You need to get it a little bit more clear and succinct, right? Is that I left the CRA job to move into a site engagement position because for me, I felt like it was growth because I wanted to pivot into blah, 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 and just make it clear and concise, write it out and then practice it. But yes, absolutely. It's career growth. It's a pivot in your career. And you get to own your career, right? So it's absolutely okay to say that. Mhm.
Okay, so what happens? You've done the CRA engagement for like 3 or 4 years. Then I went back to being a CRA. I know that's gonna come up. Like, okay, why did you our contract ended and then there was an opportunity for me to go back to being a CRA within the same company, which is exactly what I did. So
Mhm.
that needs to be explained too.
Yes, it will. Yeah.
Okay.
And you'll all need to have a really good heartfelt answer for it, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And coaching sessions are really good to help with that. And you can take a stab at that elevator pitch if you want to in the community, and I can help with that too. It needs to sound genuine. What you
Okay.
don't want it to do is sound like you had to take the job because you were desperate for a job and you settled. There's got to be a
Mm-hmm.
reason, and it's got to come across as it was a career choice. Not
Mm-hmm.
a, I had to take it to make a mortgage payment. Look, we all know that you got a mortgage payment to make, but I'm looking to hire people who are in control of their career and not taking jobs because they have to. Because if you took that CRA job because you had to, as soon as the next site engagement position opens up, you're going to bail on me. And I know that,
Yep,
right?
that's exactly where I'm
Yeah.
at.
So you got to be able to answer the question well. So, okay. So, why have you been out of work for so long? This one's a big one, you guys, and I know we're pushing on time. So I'm going to zip through this really quickly. You guys, if you have been out of work for any period of time, you are going to be asked this question. So you need to prepare for it. And you guys don't get offended. Nobody's trying to hurt your feelings. No one's trying to club the baby seal, you guys. Nobody is, right? But there are reasons why hiring managers ask this question. So you need to think about why they're asking about it. And it's not because I'm judging you, right? I just want to know what you've done, right? And so what I need you to understand is that all of us that are in the hiring seat, we understand that there's going to be employment gaps. Matter of fact, if I see a resume that doesn't have an employment gap, I am now suspicious because it's a common thread in this industry is to have employment gaps. Layoffs happen. Aging parents happen. Kiddos get sick. You decide to go back to school. Divorces, relocation. It happens, you guys. It all happens. Normal. So keep that in mind. It's normalized, right? What they care about is you want it to be, first of all, whenever you're describing it, describe it from a point of wisdom, not emotion. It needs to be brief, just factual. Because what you want to do is you want to focus on what you did with the time, right? I was blah, blah, blah. I was laid off and I have been looking for a new position, but I am not going to settle for something that doesn't fit my career trajectory. And so I've been holding out for the right thing. In the meantime, I have been volunteering at the church to do their bookkeeping. I've been doing this, that, or the other. I have been keeping up with my whatever. You have to have an answer. And so that is the whole point of the elevator pitch because you need to have a good answer for this. Okay. The goal is not to defend the gap, but to show your direction and to show that you are ready to get back to work. That's really the key. So you can mention any learning, certifications, volunteering, even reflection on what it is that you want to do because you want to pivot back to your strengths. But that doesn't change my passion for oncology. And it doesn't change the fact that I have 10 years of dedicated experience on oncology projects. And I think I would be a perfect fit for this position because, and then you list the reasons why, right? And you've got to make sure that you're expressing the fact that you were ready to get back on that horse. If you took personal time off because you had to be a caregiver, you had a personal illness, you had to relocate, you went through divorce or trauma, whatever it was, however much you share, you need to make sure that you're expressing the fact that you are ready and able to get back to work without there being a continual impact. Okay. And so you can use these things. These are really good statements to use. During this time, I took care of my mother while she was suffering from her third bout of cancer, right? This period helped me to understand that I am more dedicated than ever in helping to cure cancer. This is why I'm so interested in your project. Now it's personal, right? But you're really, again, you're knocking their socks off because it's relevant. And I am now ready to bring blah, 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 blah. I'm now ready. You don't have to worry about me. The situation is taken care of and I'm ready to get back to work better than ever, right? My sneakers are strapped on and I'm ready to go. And you want to show it that way.